Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Manchester United News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Eric Tanhaag wants to sell Scott McTominay in January at all cost. Manchester United want to get rid of midfielder Scott McTominay at all cost, according to a new report. McTominay was a regular starter under previous managers, but has generally been used as a squad rotation option by Eric Tanhaag. There were several reports throughout the summer that the Scotsman could be on the move, but United publicly insisted it would take a very large offer to tempt them to sell, an offer that never came. A £30 million bid from West Ham was turned down, and nothing better materialized despite rumored interest from Newcastle and Bayern Munich. The People's Person recently covered a report from Football Insider which stated that the Red Devils could countenance selling the 26-year-old in the winter window to fund purchases in other areas. However, according to Vigaches.net, who cite the same source, United want to get rid of McTominay at all cost. They explain that Manchester United are aware that they need to be creative in the January transfer window. It's unclear from the report whether Vigaches have extra information over the original Football Insider report or whether they are simply using hyperbole to dramatize the same situation. There is a big difference between could make the decision to sell and wanting to get rid at all cost, which is not really backed up by anything else in the article. Moreover, there would have to be a good alternative available to come in January in order to allow the star to leave without leaving United short of options. Donny van de Beek is almost inarguably ahead of McTominay in United's queue at the exit door. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana owns his catastrophic error against Bayern Munich. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana has admitted that he let his teammates down after making a glaring error in a 4-3 loss to Bayern Munich yesterday. The Red Devils looked bright in the opening exchanges of their Champions League return. However, a dreadful mistake from Onana was enough to undo their lively start. Leroy Sané's weak strike slipped through Onana's grasp to give Bayern a crucial lead. In his post-match interview with TNT Sports, he owned his mistake. He said via manunited.com, "It's difficult to lose this way because I feel in the beginning we started very good. After my mistake, we lost control of the game. It's a difficult situation, and for me especially because I am the one who let the team down. But the team was very good. I think it's because of me that they didn't win this game. This is the life of the goalkeeper, and if we didn't win today, it's because of me. They didn't create any chances. The first shot on target, I made a mistake, so I think it was the keeper, and the team went down because of that mistake. Well, I have to learn from it, be strong and move on. It's not an easy situation. I am very happy with the comeback of the team and fighting until the end, but because of me, we didn't win. I have to recognize that because of me, we didn't win." For over a decade, David De Gea has been a constant face between the sticks. Replacing him was never going to be easy for Andre Onana. However, an unconvincing start to his life in England has further added pressure on Onana. For the first time since 1978, Man United have conceded 3 or more goals in consecutive matches. His early howler gifted Bayern the opener and shifted the momentum in their favour. Before that, the Red Devils surprisingly dominated the German giants in their own backyard. In the first 8 minutes, they had already won 3 corners. Man United midfielder Christian Eriksen delivers a frustrating display versus Bayern. Manchester United midfielder Christian Eriksen had a difficult outing against Bayern Munich in the Champions League on Wednesday night. The Red Devils started their European campaign at the Allianz Arena yesterday with a 4-3 defeat. Casemiro was the main contributor with 2 late goals, but it was not sufficient to secure a point. A number of players struggled on the night, and one of those was Eriksen. The Dane had an excellent chance to put United 1-0 up from a rebound, but he was not clinical enough. As the game progressed, the Dane failed to gain a stranglehold in midfield. He was outsmarted by Leon Goretzka and Joshua Kimmich. He contested 5 ground duels and won none. The 31-year-old also lost possession on 10 occasions and was dribbled past twice. There were no surprises that he was replaced by Scott McTominay in the 69th minute. Eriksen had a brilliant start to his United career last season, but unfortunately picked up an ankle injury in January. Since his comeback, he has been far from his best for the club. The midfielder has been outrun by several opponents, and yesterday was another example where he could not cope with the intensity and the work rate of Bayern's midfielders. In our view, the former Brentford man should be dropped from the starting lineup for the Burnley trip. Mason Mount was back in team training in the lead up to the Bayern game, and he could be drafted straight into the starting lineup for Saturday's visit of Turf Moor. If Mount is unfit enough to start, we would give a chance to Hannibal Mejberi, who had a lively cameo against Brighton and Hove Albion with a sublime long-range goal. Owen Hargreaves gives verdict on Anthony Martial cameo performance versus Bayern München. Manchester United fought back against Bayern München and salvaged some pride with a 4-3 loss when many fans feared the worst at halftime. One of the players involved in the late fight back was Anthony Martial, who has come in for heavy criticism in recent weeks. French forward Anthony Martial came on as an 81st minute substitute along with Alejandro Garnacho, with Facundo Pellistri and Rasmus Højlund taken off. While May would have thought Garnacho would be more likely to make an impact, Martial was surprisingly lively. He was picked out for praise by Owen Hargreaves, who told TNT Sport he was impressed with his contribution. Hargreaves said, "It's been a brilliant little cameo from Martial. He looks sharp." Martial was credited with the assist for Casemiro's first goal, with the Brazilian scoring 2 on the night. Anthony Martial is no longer first choice at Manchester United, with the new signing Rasmus Højlund picked to lead the line in recent games. Martial started twice, while Højlund wasn't fit and didn't contribute much. However, if looking to defend him, you could argue he was just building up his fitness after missing pre-season. He has now to settle into his role as backup and start building a case for a recall and show his manager he can afford to rotate Højlund occasionally. This was just a brief cameo, but there were at least some signs of life from Martial. United do need him to contribute this season, and in the short term, he has to show he can be a game changer from the bench. Owen Hargreaves hails good Athletic as one Man United impressive player versus Bayern München. Manchester United loanee Sergio Reguilon continues to make a positive early impression despite ending up on the losing side. Loan signing Sergio Reguilon is the only available left back right now due to injury and has an important role to play. He has made 2 starts so far, both times ending up on the losing side. The Spaniard, however, can hold his head high. He was one of the better performers. Last night in the defeat to Bayern, there were few positives, however, he was one. Reguilon posed a threat going forward, offering a good outlet with his positioning and determination to get crosses into the box. Making it just his second appearance for Manchester United, Sergio Reguilon was one of the players to come out of the game with credit. He was picked out for praise by former United midfielder Owen Hargreaves on commentary for TNT Sports. He said, "Reguilon has done fantastic getting forward. He is a good athlete with his forward runs. He's been up and down the flank." Goalkeeper Andre Onana made a bad mistake for Bayern's first goal and looked crestfallen with the error. Sergio Reguilon was the first player to go over to him to pick up his teammate and attempt to get him to refocus. At the moment, United needed some leaders and personalities in the team to get through this tough spell. This was good to see. Reguilon has not started a lot of games over the past year. However, the early signs are encouraging, and he will now look to help United go on a winning run starting from this weekend. Erik Tanhaag should start Alejandro Garnacho versus Burnley after lively cameo. Manchester United manager Erik Tanhaag should consider starting Alejandro Garnacho during Saturday's late Premier League kick-off against Burnley at Turf Moor. The Red Devils suffered a third straight defeat on Wednesday night. They were beaten 4-3 at the hands of Bayern in the Champions League group stage. United have no time to ponder over the result, given the short turnaround time before the Burnley trip. Ahead of the game, Ten Hag is bound to consider a few changes to the starting lineup, and in our opinion, Garnacho should make the starting 11 against the Clarets. The United graduate started the first two games of the season, but he has since played just 20 minutes of normal time for the Red Devils across all competitions. Against Bayern, he replaced Facundo Pellistri in the 81st minute and had a lively cameo. The 19-year-old won 3 out of his 4 duels, contested and induced 3 fouls from the opposition. One of those won the free kick, which led to Casemiro's consolation goal in stoppage time. The 25 million euros rated wonderkid also made one interception and should have found the net after Marcus Rashford's dangerous cross from the right flank for him. In our view, Garnacho deserves to make his first start for United since August 19, when they travelled to Lancashire to face Vincent Kompany's side on Saturday. It's quite obvious that Ten Hag won't consider dropping Rashford at any stage. Pellistri will most likely make way for Garnacho to get the nod in the starting lineup. This would mean a positional change for Rashford. The Englishman could operate from the right flank to accommodate Garnacho on the left wing, as seen in yesterday's game. From what we have judged, Rashford looks much more comfortable crossing the ball from the right wing. Ten Hag should trial by starting both Garnacho and Rashford this weekend. Erik Tanhaag matches unwanted Ole Gunnar Solskjaer record at Man United after a Brighton defeat. Erik Tanhaag has become the first Manchester United manager to lose 3 games in a row since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more than 4 years ago. The Red Devils were on the wrong end of a 4-3 thriller away to Bayern Munich in the Champions League on Wednesday. Although the scoreline flattered them, Ten Hag's men were by far the inferior side at the Allianz Arena, despite Bayern not being at their best. Still, United were beaten, though, making it 3 consecutive defeats for Ten Hag and co. The result leaves the Red Devils bottom of their Champions League group after match day 1, as Galatasaray drew 2-2 with Copenhagen in Wednesday's other fixture. It was April 2019 when Solskjaer lost 3 on the bounce, as heavy defeats away to Barcelona and Everton came before more humiliation in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford, losing 2-0. That was near the end of Solskjaer's first 6 months in charge, having only been made permanent boss a few weeks prior. Ten Hag, meanwhile, has been in the job for well over a year and finds himself under more pressure than ever. His team have conceded a concerning 14 goals in their last 5 games, only one of which they have won. Last month's 3-2 comeback victory over Nottingham Forest. United have also conceded 3 or more goals in 3 straight games for the first time since Dave Sexton was manager in 1978. Ten Hag is adamant that his players will bounce back. However, having been asked post-match if Bayern's haul of goals were too easy from the Red Devils' perspective, Ten Hag replied on those, "I wouldn't say it's like this. We are in a period, a lot is going against us, but we have to make our own luck. When we can't keep going like this and we can't keep consistent in doing the rules and the principles of our game, then you concede goals. But also, it's telling that we have played 3 great teams in the last 3 games." Ten Hag went on to say, "Every game is important, every game is huge, and as I just said, we have to make our own luck. No one is going to help you." Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim reluctant to raise their bids for Manchester United following their poor start. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim are reluctant to raise their bids for Manchester United following the club's poor start to the 23-24 Premier League campaign, according to the Daily Mail. The duo have offered around £5 billion for the Red Devils, but the Glazers are holding out for substantially more. The lack of agreement over a selling price between the Man United owners and buyers has delayed the takeover process since the club was put up for sale last November. The Old Trafford club have won just 2 of their opening 5 league games this term, losing the other 3, which has failed to persuade Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim to ramp up their bids to an as yet acceptable level. They are insisting that those results highlight the fact that the rebuilding job at Man United is huge, which would mean a larger scale of investment. The would-be owners believe it will take a lot of cash to recruit the type of players that can get the team challenging for the Premier League and the Champions League again. The Red Devils won the League Cup, reached the final of the FA Cup and finished third in the Premier League last term, which led the owners to believe that the club is worth more than £5 billion. However, the results and performances this term have been far from impressive, and the buyers believe their valuation of the club is generous enough. Old Trafford and the Carrington training ground are also very much in need of major upgrades, and a takeover is unlikely to happen anytime soon unless the Glazers are ready to do business for £5 billion. As we wrap up today's Manchester United news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.